You're looking at the top of the drawbar on my new King mill. See this little square-ended nut here and a wrench that fits on it. Now, I'm hanging on to the bottom of the spindle and I'm going to try to turn that. That's a little bit hard, but there, it's loose now. And we can wind it out just a little bit because it's still stuck into the chuck, which is down lower here. I'm going to pan down and show you that the chuck is there. Right there. There's the chuck. Now we want to get the chuck out of there. So what we got to do up here, now that we've loosened it with a wrench, is take a hammer and give it a tap. I'm going to hang on to that drill chuck so it doesn't fall out of there, and I'm going to turn this square, which is a little bit hard because it kind of sticks in your fingers. It could be more comfortable, that's for sure. And we've got the drill chuck out of there. So that part wasn't too hard. Now there's another nut underneath here, right here, that we have a 19mm wrench for. I'm going to hold down to the spindle on the lower end and pull on that, and loosen that. And now we're going to turn this nut till it comes off. Take that off, and we should be able to remove the drawbar now. And there we go. There's the drawbar. What I'd like to do is change this up here so that it's a regular hex, so that I can use like a box wrench on it or whatever I want on there. And it'll be a little more comfortable to turn even with your fingers because there'll be more sides to it, and it won't have the tendency to stick into your fingers like this one does. And what I hope to do with that now is perhaps put a little wheel underneath here. There's room to put a little wheel underneath, I think, if we make this a little bit longer perhaps. Anyway, we're going to find some material. I think I have some drill rod, water hardening drill rod, because I can see they have hardened this up here so that it won't be damaged by the wrench. We'll use the drill rod and we'll put a thread on it. I think that's 7/16 20. We'll verify that. And we'll make a new one of these things that should be a little bit more comfortable to handle. Okay, I found some 1/2-inch water hardening drill rod, and we're going to cut it off just a little more than 1 inch longer than the original bar here. This wider part I'm just simply going to press onto the 1/2-inch piece. I don't want to have to take a piece this size and cut all of this off. So I think pressing that on is going to work for me. So we're going to take this over to the lathe now and see if we can't get a thread put on the end. And we faced it off here, and we put a mark down by the end of the thread. We just measured the existing thread on the original bar and noted how long that section was. So I've got a mark there. And now we have to take our 1/2-inch rod down to about 433 thousandths, which is the size for the OD on the thread, on the 7/16 20 thread. And we can then run a die over that using the tailstock to keep us square. Under the right diameter, and we've given ourselves a little bit of undercut at the end. So here's our thread right here, and we're going to try that in the collet to make sure we've got a nice fit. It's not too hard to turn. That seems to go on pretty nice there. I think we're okay for our threaded portion now. And the next thing I want to do is put a hex on this end so I can use a hex wrench on here. I need to calculate how big of a wrench we can use on this. And I'm thinking a 7/16 might be nice. And our distance across the flats on this wrench is 444 thousandths. So I tried to figure that out here. I got a piece of paper here. 7/16 is 444 thousandths. And now we've got a 1/2 inch rod, which subtract the 444 thousandths. That gives us 56 thousandths. Now we're going to take the same amount off both sides, so we have to divide the 56 thousandths by 2, and we get 0.028 off of each side. So that's the amount we'll be coming in on each side of our hex to do what we want to do here. Now we're finished with the rotary table. We put it in there and took off, let me check on that. Hang on. That was 28 thousandths. I wanted to make sure that I'm telling you the right number. 28 thousandths, and then rotate it 60 degrees and 28 thousandths and another 60 degrees. 60 degree increments all the way back to 360 degrees, or 0 where you started from. And it fits the wrench pretty nice, and we shouldn't have a problem with that. Now we have one more piece to make. Well, I had to make a design change on this. This is the original drawbar. Basically, all we have done with making the new one is we've made this about 1 inch longer, and instead of 4 flats on here, we have 6 flats, so we can we use a box wrench on this. And the reason I had to make a change was originally my diameter at this point would not fit through the top of the spindle nut. We'll just go have a quick look at that right now. So this is the spindle nut. It screws down onto the top of the spindle, and the opening at the top wouldn't allow my my bar to come through at the diameter that I had it. So I had to reduce it, this part here, this diameter here, to the same diameter as the original drawbar. So what we have now is a longer distance here. Makes it a lot more comfortable to grab and turn. And you can now use the box wrench on this, if we can get it off the magnet here. And when we put it on here, we gotta let go. It doesn't fall off. And I like that a lot better. That's the best part of it, is being able to use a box wrench on this, and it works just fine. Here are the 2 bars, the new bar and the original bar, and you can see I've made it longer. Now if you wanted to put that plastic cap on, you'd have to make this area in here a little bit shorter, but I don't use the plastic cap. I take that thing on and off all day long, and it's going to wear it out anyway. So this is the only difference, the length and the fact that we have a hex here instead of the little square. Now, if you recall, in the earlier part of the video, I said that I was going to put this on as a press fit on the new one. My press fit wasn't quite as tight as what I had figured, so I put a little Loctite on this collar, and I put a roll pin, or a split pin in there rather. So it's definitely not going to go anywhere. I'm rethinking leaving that cap off, because there probably is some electronic components inside there. I don't want dirt or metal chips inside there. So I took a piece of old cutting board from the kitchen, and I put a hole in it and just sit it on there. We can turn it on. And it's not going anywhere, and it's not going to wear anything out. It'll just keep the dirt out of that hole, and that should look after keeping anything from falling through that hole and into who knows what in there.